Okay, you guys, we're recording, I think. Anyway, so let me show you this real quick. I wanted to show off this little stick I got here. It's pretty mean. It's called a Reverend, and it's I don't know if Pete Anderson used to be Dwight Yoakam's guitar player and producer, and so he came out with these guitars, and he still stands by them to this day. He's got a signature one that's got like 3 pickups, almost like a Strat, but it's a Tele. But these Teles here are Tele style. They're not a Telecaster, but Tele style is this thing is slightly bigger than a Tele, which is great for me because I'm 6'4". I'm a pretty big guy, so pretty tall guy. So anyway, so yeah, this thing is just. Anyway, so yeah, this thing's pretty amazing. But they call it the Gristle. It's a Reverend. It's called the Gristle, and I just love the looks of this thing. It's just so badass. But anyways, this thing is, they call it a Gristle. Anyway, so yeah, it's got a battery. It's got active pickups in here. Okay. Also, you see this little indentation right here, that little button in between the 2 knobs. Well, if you press that down, it gives it just a slight more gristle. See? I don't know if you'll be able to press it in. So it just gives it a slight little extra boost, I guess, if you want it. But yeah. Yeah, this thing, oh man. So anyway, I'm just noodling around with this, that's all. But I just wanted to show you this. Yeah, if I wanted to put a little dirt on it, I can. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. All right, you guys. Anyway, so I'm just dicking around with this thing. It's got locking tuners on it. It's just pure badass. So it's actually the first time I had a chance to pick it up. I've been so busy with trying to take care of my dog. But anyway, so he gets his stitches out on Friday. He had a little bit of surgery. He's doing great. Anyways, what can I talk to you about today? Let me see. Let's figure this out here. Let me zoom her up before this thing dies out. Oh, I don't want her in that much. Yeah, okay, something like that. Well, let's just make it something like that. Anyway, so, hey, um, what I wanted to talk about, just to cap off on some of the stuff that I went through with my songwriting, how I write a song, some of the things. Listen, that's just how I do it. I just want to close that out. I forgot to say it a couple times because a couple of responses on your guys' comments and stuff, and I just want to say, you know what? There is no wrong way to write a song. I'm sorry, there is no wrong way, and it's all good. So any way you try to write a song, it's the right way. So, but a lot of people do it different. A lot of people like to do the lyrics first. And one of these days, I think one time I did try it, and I ended up writing, I don't know what song it was, but I did write lyrics. And, I'm open to trying that. I definitely want to try that. But anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about the dynamics of some of the clubs we play at as solo artists, right? Oh, my hair. I got to get a new wig because this thing's all fucked up here. Anyway, so yeah, I'm playing at a place right now, and it's got a weird vibe there. It's a good vibe for the most part, but the staff is young, okay, and they're getting cheated, and it breaks my heart. That some of these club owners, okay, and what I'm talking about really is your tips. Thank God they don't mess with my tips, my tips are my tips, that's it. But these guys, these servers and the bartenders, Kim was there working there for a while. Well, they share tips there. And that is pure bullshit. And it's just, there is some restaurants that do that do the tip share thing, and they do it. But I'm going to tell you something, what I've noticed through the years of my experience and being around staff at these restaurants and playing as a solo artist, even as a band. Everybody keeps their own tips. That's the norm. Okay, the bartender keeps their own tips. The servers keep their own tips. Now they do have to tip out the back ends sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they require you to tip out, a certain percentage, 5, 10, I don't know, percent to, let's say the busboy. If there's a guy out there or a girl collecting up all the dishes and shit and taking them back and doing the dishes, you got to give her a little something, okay? Also, let's see, if there's a host at the restaurant, you got to give her a little something too, right? So that's fine and dandy. But some places actually require that you tip the back end of the restaurant, like the cooks and everything, which is kind of bullshit. But it's kind of a red flag when they do that. I think why they do that is because they're not paying the cooks enough. The cook really is the highest paid dude there in the restaurant, okay, the cooks. They're the highest paid. And if the person that owns the place is not paying them enough and trying to get some of these servers and bartenders tips and just to give them a little something, I guess, I don't know. I know this is hard times right now and people are struggling, but this guy that I've been playing for quite a while, and so basically what it is, I'm not going to say the name of the place or if his name or anything, but he's got a girl. He's got kind of like a girlfriend, and she kind of thinks that she's the manager there, but she's not. The dynamics are just so fucking weird. They're just fucking weird. Because it really hurt me that Kim got ripped off when she was working there. She just totally got ripped off. Well, come to find out, the girl that's friend of my buddy that owns a restaurant, she refuses to take salary from the guy, from the owner, okay? So-called, this girl's kind of messed up. She's got a crush on this dude, and I don't know if he's got if I don't know if it's both ways. I'm not really sure. But they are good friends. They've known each other a long, long time. They had a previous job together and stuff. And so, anyways, and it's none of my business. I actually put out I planted some seeds with the owner, and I told him, I said, hey, you know what? If you want this restaurant to run smoothly, you're gonna have to switch up the share tip shit. And come to find out, usually when a restaurant, when they all have to share their tips with the server and the bartender, and they're all have to, they take the cash tips, they put them in the back, and then they tally up and give them at the end of the week. Well, come to find out, the girl that collects all the tips, that's got a crush on the owner, she refuses to take a salary or get paid by the owner that she has a crush on. She refuses. So, and only his fault, he probably decided to say, hey, well, listen, if you're not going to take my pay and you want to work here, I'll just we'll do a tip share and I'll give you a percentage of the tips. Well, it's not that she doesn't do anything there. She does do, but she's not a manager or anything. But when she told Kim that about, oh my God, when she told Kim, she says, yeah, I tried. Kim has mentioned it to him, and he's got to stop the tip sharing, because people that are in the service business, bartenders, that's their bread and butter is their tips. So when you get it stripped away from you and they're taking the tips from the restaurant, because Kim had already since quit. She stopped. She goes, no, I'm not. She just, she quit. She's just not going to tolerate that. And anyway, so she quit, but they take the tips, and so basically the servers and the bartenders are paying her salary all the way. And she has control on how much she gets to take from everybody's tips. That is the most saddest thing I have ever heard of. And I don't care. I mean, it's like, it's not my restaurant. It's not my say. I don't care. But it's painful, because I do have respect for servers. They work their tail off, and they put up with a lot of bullshit with these fucking customers. Same with the bartenders. The bartenders put up with bullshit. And for this guy to take tips from these, this is another thing, is that he's hiring all these young kids. I mean, they're young. And, I'm like, okay, or whatever. Listen, I adore this guy, but he has left a bad taste in my mouth, and I hope down the road maybe it changes, but he's left a bad taste in my mouth, and for him to do this is not right. But you know what? He can keep doing it. I'll keep playing my Mondays, whatever. But the thing is, man, I can't, it hurts me, because we work hard for our money. We get up there, we give them a rate, we charge them, right? And then we get our tips, we keep our tips. And, we work hard for our money. So can you imagine if the house said, okay, no, we're going to take your tips and we'll tip you out once a week. We'll give you a percentage of, everybody gets their tip to pay, they don't know that. These people don't know that these kids, they don't know. They're kind of ignorant. They need to do a little homework is what they need to do. But listen, as long as he's getting away with it, whatever, more power to him. I don't know, but I'm telling you, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because it's just not fucking cool. Not fucking cool. Because the people that are been in the business for years, and their bread and butter is those tips. They come in. Matter of fact, he can't even hire a normal server, like an experienced server. He's got to train these kids that are just been out of high school for I don't know how long. 5 years or whatever. They're like college kids. I mean, but they don't go to college. But, and, for him to do that, it's like, so he hires these people. So, but the people that come in, and I know it's happened, people with experience, women and guys come in and do their work and they expect to keep their tips, cash out and keep their tips. And they find out that when they're filling out the application, oh, we tip share here. Because it's one of the questions you want to ask now, because some restaurants do that. And it's usually when they do that, it's a red flag. Something's not running right in the restaurant. I'm not saying, they're, they could be breaking the law. But yeah, it's bizarre, dude. So I just need to vent out about that because, now my wife's looking for a new gig. And she's going to find one. It's going to be a blessing. But most places don't do that. They don't share tips. Now, once in a while, you'll get behind a bar. The bar's slammed and busy, and it's a big bar, and they got to have a second person behind there. Then those two, when they work the whole shift, yes, they split the tips between the two. But it doesn't get collected and go in the backstage and back in the back, and then you get it once a month. Oh God, man. That left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm so sorry. It really does. So, anyways, I just wanted to vent about, it's not so much about the solo stuff, but as a solo artist, and I'm up on that stage, I see them being taken advantage of. And so what's going on is getting these young kids, and they're saying, well, I'm not making enough money here. I thought the service business, I was supposed to make, a lot of tips, and they're not. And so what they do is they're taking the tips. They're telling their customers or regulars, hey, I'll take it under the table or Venmo me, or Cash App. Send it to on my Cash App. And there's a couple people that do that there. And it's sad that they have to hide and do that. And so, because if they get caught, he's going to accuse them from stealing, which is not. This person did a service and he's getting rewarded one-on-one basis with that person, and it's a gift, and it's theirs. It's not the house. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's bizarre. Anyway, so yeah, you'll probably notice that. Maybe you'll play at some places. You'll notice that some of these places. I mean, maybe not. Because we're just musicians. But I like to. I'm always vigilant, and I always want to know what's going on around me, okay? And, not just to get involved or anything, but, keep an eye on my equipment and stuff like that. And then you end up talking to some of these servers and bartenders there. And I used to be a bartender years ago. And when I find out that they tip share, yeah, that's a red flag. And not too many restaurants do that. Maybe you guys leaving comments down below. Maybe maybe you don't know at all, or you don't really bother with it because you get to keep your tips. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to vent on that and show off my new little guitar here. And that's how I roll, okay? Let's see here. Let me see this thing.